What up, guys? Knowledge is self-determination. So, I wanted to talk to you guys today about a loss that I had in my family, or one of the losses in from my family from the latter part of last year. My grandmother. My grandmother passed in August of 2017, and I gotta admit it was pretty devastating to me. Not not that she had passed. Not that she had passed, but it was the circumstances involved with it. Um, Now, from what I understand, one of my cousins, was kind of along the same lines as I was when it came to my grandmother and her being in her final hours or whatever. Like very protective and starting to place blame on individuals who needed the blame placed on them for their poor caregiving skills and their poor treatment of my grandmother. When I left the East Coast for the last time, I thought I had left my grandmother in a good position with someone who actually wanted to take care of her, right? Now, there were two family members that were charged with taking care of my grandmother. Uh, there was one individual, a female individual in my family who was charged with taking care of my grandmother, who basically was doing a piss poor job of it. To be honest with you, my grandmother was in her 80s. She was 83 when she passed. And in all honesty, I think she had more years. My grandmother had more years in her. So anyway, so this first individual, when I came back to Maryland, because I had been going back and forth from California to Maryland for a little while. When I came back to Maryland this one time, you know, I started, going to see my grandmother every day. Then it kind of evolved to me being the one caring for her during the day. And then, I was there predominantly most of the time, when I wasn't taking care of my own business, looking at my grandmother and taking care of her and stuff, making sure things were going right for her. That other family member, I had to get them the fuck away from her. You know what I'm saying? There were instances and incidents that had occurred right in my face that, first off, I was fucking shocked and amazed that this bitch even had the gall, had the audacity to actually do in front of me. And I had to check this motherfucker quite a few times, right? But the last straw was I got my whole family involved. All of my grandmother's children that were still alive at the time, or at least her sons, I got all of them involved in the situation. And told them, y'all need to step the fuck up. Y'all need to step up and come together and get my grandmother out of this situation, because the bitch who's doing it, and for all my female subs, if you guys have watched any of my videos, there are two words that I try not to say as often as, I'd probably like to, but the two words that I try not to say, and bitch is one of them, because I don't make it a habit of calling females bitches, only when it applies. And right now it applies. So we basically came together and got this bit and got her the fuck away from my grandmother, because she was using her for her money, using her for a place to stay. You basically taking advantage of her and using her for whatever the fuck she could get out of the situation, right? So we got her we got her out of the picture. We got her removed from the picture. So, and my grandmother was, kind of worried, because this is the type of person who would. This is the type of individual this is the type of person who would bully an 80-year-old woman. You understand what I'm saying? Who would bully and threaten, you know what I'm saying? And make little violent innuendos and shit like that. That's the type of person that we're dealing with. So I'm gonna let you know right now, that's the type of female that I wouldn't mind straight snuffing her fucking ass. Over my grandmother, I beat a bitch up. Real talk. And I'm not gonna hide that from nobody. For my grandmother, bitch, I will strangle you and throw you out of a fucking window for my grandmother. And I'm going to leave it at that. Now you know how much I care about my grandmother. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Family, daughter. It could have been her own motherfucking mother or twin. I don't give a flying fuck. It could be the God you believe in. You hurt my grandmother, I will choke you the fuck out and throw you down the flight of stairs. Right? So, we got her away from my grandmother. Right? Now, the next individual, this is a male. I'm thinking that this person is going to do right by my grandmother. You know, I'm not even leaving until, you know, new apartment is set up, moved in, you know what I'm saying, yada, yada, yada. You know, I packed my grandmother's old place up by myself, single-handedly. I packed up the entire spot, broke all her furniture down, got rid of the shit she didn't need, all that, man. I did all of that, you know what I'm saying? My cousins helped me move her into the new spot, and then I set up the new spot, you know what I'm saying? So, the individual, the male individual who was going to be caring for my grandmother, who is the last person, who is the person that I left my grandmother in care of, right? Or in their care, rather. And I'm thinking everything is going fine. I go back to the East Coast in 2016. I see the place, and it's a fucking pigsty. And I straight had to tell this dude, I was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's up? Like, man, you got to get this shit together, man. My grandmother can't be living in this kind of fucking shit. Like, seriously, she's old, she's elderly, she's ill. What the fuck are you doing? He had another family member in there. One of my uncles, he was taking care of him now. Now, mind you, all of this was about greed, right? All of this is about greed. And let me say this. I should have prefaced this video with this statement. If you have family members who are elderly or sick or, you know, who just cannot care for themselves anymore, if your only purpose in taking care of them is for the fucking money, you are a piece of shit of a human being. If your only purpose is just so you can generate an income, you are a horrible person. If you're not doing this because you genuinely care, then you're a piece of shit. And you know what? And let me add some qualifiers onto that. You know, if you're only doing it for the money, but you take immaculate care of the person, I have no argument. You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing it for the money, but at the same time, you're doing what's expected. I cannot argue with that. As long as they are being cared for properly and treated well, I cannot argue with that. But if you are a piece of fucking shit of a human being who's only doing this for the money and their health and their well-being be damned, you are a fucking scumbag and you should kill yourself. There, I said it. Fuck you. And fuck every family member who this video is about, who treated my grandmother poorly, who did not fucking step up to the plate. I was all the way on the other side of the fucking country. If I could have brought my grandmother to the West Coast with me, I fucking would have. If it was an option for me to stay there, I would have. But there are things that I can do here that I cannot do on the East Coast. But I don't need to explain or justify any motherfucking thing. So, I'm telling this dude, I'm like, man, you got to get this shit together. And if taking care of my grandmother is something that you don't want to do or can't handle, then you need to make a fucking change. You need to make a change. My grandmother can go back to the fucking nursing home, which this is where she was 4 or 5 years ago. She was in the fucking nursing home. And that's where the fuck she should have stayed. But greedy, bum, old motherfuckers in my family who were shiftless pieces of shit who had done nothing in their lives to amount to anything in their 50s and 60s needed my grandmother's little ass motherfucking check. They wanted to get their hands all over that shit. Because you are a worthless scumbag piece of shit whose life didn't amount to the fucking dog shit that I scrape off the bottom of my fucking shoe. Your life didn't amount to dog excrement that I scrape off the bottom of my shoe. So you need some old lady's money so you can blow it with blow, right? But that's a whole nother video. I'm not even gonna get into all the substance abuse shit, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna just tell you like this, straight up and down. If you're a fucking junkie, I can spot you a mile of motherfucking way. I can spot you away. You can't hide your junkiness from me. I don't give a fuck what you think you look like. I can look at that motherfucking look. I can look in your eyes and see. I can see it. I grew up in that environment all my life. I know what the fuck I know a scumbag when I see him. I know a flim-flam artist when I'm talking to one. I know the game, and I know a motherfucker who's trying to get over when I fucking look at him. I am not happy about the situation that happened with my grandmother. And that shit devastated me because my grandmother did not deserve to be mistreated or not even mistreated. She just wasn't being properly cared for. She wasn't even being mistreated. you know what I'm saying, like being abused or anything like that. But this is what I want to say. My grandmother may not have been the nicest person when she was in her younger days, right? But I do know this for a fact. As she got older, and she's not a person who would verbalize her regrets, but what she would do is try to make good on shit she fucked up on. Whenever her children needed something, she was always there. If their children needed something, she tried to do everything she could to help, to make amends for the things she did in the past. And worthless, shiftless, dumb, illiterate, stupid pieces of shit that some of her offspring were, decided that this is the time now to pay her back for all the quote-unquote things she did or didn't do for them when they were children. What a piece of fucking shit you are as a human being to do and think some shit like that. And I just had to get that shit off my chest, man. I haven't been really doing the YouTube thing that much since that happened. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there are things that I'm trying to do with my life and accomplish that I wish my grandmother and my uncle could have been around to see. But now that they're not here, I feel even more driven to make these things happen. So maybe I don't watch as many other people channels as I used to, or comment on their videos, or give them likes for their videos as much as I used to. You just need to fucking understand that my life ain't spent watching fucking YouTube videos. If you don't understand that, then just don't fuck with me. Unsubscribe from my channel, and I won't fuck with you. If you can't understand that I got shit that I need to do because I feel driven because of shit that has happened in my past, I shouldn't even need to explain myself, and I don't even call myself explaining shit now. I'm just saying, I'm just stating the facts. That's all. This is a statement of facts. That's it. You know, my YouTube output isn't going to be the way that it was because I'm driven to get shit done now. Not that I wasn't before. I just feel a lot less relaxed about the situation, you know. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into, you know, where I am mentally, you know what I'm saying, and some of the things that have occurred in my past. I'm not going to put any names out there because I'm not going to incriminate anybody or end up getting slammed with a defamation suit, you know what I'm saying, because I told the truth about a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, any event, this situation between me and these individuals will get handled, you know what I'm saying. When I see them face to face, when I go back to the East Coast and I have a conversation with them, I will tell them exactly what the fuck is on my mind. You can either believe it or not. I really don't give a fuck what people who don't know think about me, because that's just it. You don't fucking know me. But anybody who knows me, who's listening to this video, you fucking know who I'm talking about, and you know for a fucking fact that I'm going to say everything that I'm telling you I'm going to say. But rest in peace, Granny. I love you. I wish I could have brought you to the East Coast with me. I'm sorry, the West Coast with me. I wish that you had been left in better hands. And I don't mourn the fact that you're gone. I'm upset about the fact that the people who were charged with your care did not fucking do so. That's what I'm upset about. More than anything. You know what I'm saying? Death is just the next page in the book of life. It's not something you can really prepare for, and it's not anything that you can avoid. It's inevitable. I don't believe in being afraid of shit that I can't change. I'm not afraid of the inevitable. I'm just upset about things that happen in the eventuality of it. You understand what I'm saying? But that's a little look into my life, you know. And as I start to branch out more and become independent, meaning being my own boss, I'll put more out there. You know what I'm saying? But where I work, the industry that I'm in, there's just certain things that I just can't put out there because there's a reputation that I need to uphold. You know, and as an ambassador for this company, this industry, I need to be respectful of that. But in any event, you know, that's what it is with me, man. You know, my grandmother passed. Rest in peace, Granny. I love you. In spite of all of your flaws, nobody deserves to be mistreated, especially when they're at a point of life when they cannot take care of themselves. But I'm out, guys. Peace.